Adventure, defined as an experience with a risky tone about it, going out there and doing something to juggle them adrenaline glands. So an adventure can fall under traveling, mountain climbing, skydiving, river rafting, and of course, in our world of motorcycles, adventure riding. In adventure riding, we go out there. Adventure can be on-road, can be off-road, and more often than not, it's actually a mix of both. During that time, there was no adventure bike genre or segment. Motorcycles weren't really meant to cross continents. They weren't designed for long-distance travel. But because of the human desire to go out there, they did it anyway. As far back as the 1930s, adventurers were on their bikes going around the planet, up until the 1980s. That's when the first adventure bike was introduced to the world, the BMW GS R80. Since then, the GS series has been a staple in the BMW lineup, and a slew of adventure riders were born. Prominent ones like Chris Scott in 1997 wrote the first ever handbook on adventure riding called the Adventure Motorcycling Handbook. Later on, it was the duo of Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman who put adventure riding into the main course with their mini documentary series, The Long Way Down. They inspired millions with that series, and since that show, the adventure riding segment blew up. We now take a closer look at an adventure bike in the mid-size category that is of Asian origin and is assembled in the Philippines. Brixx Motorcycles, with parts sourced from around the world and brought in by Sinski Philippines, the same folks behind the gorgeous Bristol motorcycles that got launched last year. The Brixx Venturi. This bike, it's got a lot of stuff. First, the engine. They call it the KE500, a parallel twin at 471cc churning in around 35 kilowatts at 8,500 RPM and 43 Nm of torque at 7,000 RPM. Upon deeper research, these numbers are actually identical to the numbers of the Honda CB500X, which I also reviewed last year. Do they perform identically? I'll get to that later on. Seat height is 820 mm, but don't worry, this is actually a non-issue because of its slim design. So if you're 5'3" onwards, no problem. You can take on this bike. You're gonna be pals with this bike. EFI is managed by Bosch. It's got dual power modes, dual oxygen sensors, so its air-to-fuel ratio is really optimized. It's got a carbon rear fender bracket. It gives it a nice touch. I kind of like that. Stability at high speeds is helped with a windshield that can withstand 20 kgs of pressure, KYB inverted forks, Nissan disc brake, dual piston calipers at the front, ABS channels, a FAM chain, Metzler tires, center stand, 21-liter tank, LED lights, tube-spoked wheels, 19 inches at the front and 17 at the rear. You can charge your phone and gadgets with this bike. It's under 400 pounds. You can also buy this with a whole caboodle with side panniers and all. Like I said, this bike is loaded. Power-wise, I'm quite impressed, and yes, it does remind me a lot of the pull of the Honda CB500X. Just like that other bike, you're gonna get a lot of joy from first to third. Power is linear and spread out. And I know what you're thinking, is the power identical? Since I don't have a dyno, there was certainly no way for me to discern the exact numbers. But as a flawed human being that rides a lot, I can tell you that both engines are somewhat in the same range. Close your eyes and listen, and you'd have a hard time telling which is which on the get-go. As for performance, man, these new manufacturers are really upping their game. That trademark Japanese refined engine in a parallel twin setup, they nailed it here, man. The only real question is, will this last? Only time will tell, of course, since this is a new brand. But so far, with all the indications, common sense is telling me that it should. Okay, we got some traffic action going on here. Jeepneys stopping everywhere in Marikina. Big bike in the metro. So it's manageable. Tight situations. Hi. Excuse me. Okay. La la la. Ooh, off-road. Of course, I'm still not in scooter width level in terms of seeing it. My riding position is very comfortable. That's why, I don't feel tired in bad traffic. Sorry daw, Kasha.
position of the steering wheel. We're generous. Weave in and out, weave in and out. Come on, everybody, move it, move it. Let's go. Come on, move.
Suspension is on the softer side, not really squishy, not too stiff, so I guess I got this tuned ready to take on both off-road and on-road. I'd call it friendly to the ass and lower back, which is supposed to be the case in adventure riding long rides, yeah? So that part, they got it right. Handling, I got a pretty good response in the sense that while it looks big, it's still in the mid-adventure size category. Don't let the bulkiness fool you. Its weight and length behave just how a mid-size should, and I was treating it more like a Sport Naked actually. In corners, it's how it felt to me. So go upright when you need to relax and lean when you feel the need for some carving action. As with most people who ask about engine heat in bigger bikes in the Philippines, the Brixx Venturi did not give me any case of SB syndrome or Sunag Batlog.
Also, we have no engine heat at all. Super comfortable. Very, very comfortable.
Engine heat was a non-issue for me. For the brakes and the ABS, you can go all off for some dirt action or all on, of course, and just rear off.
Alright, let's test some brakes here. First, the rear. Okay, so ABS is working fine. Now let's go to the front. Very nice. Let's do both. So for the brakes in the front, be very careful. It is biting really, really hard. I didn't skid because my tires are good, so just be careful.
Gasoline in semi-walwal mode, I got about 25.06 kpl. Veteran adventure rider Oliver Navarro got about 23 kpl. That guy is full-on walwal mode, so tipid mode can probably get you around 27 to 29 kpl, depending on how much you weigh and how you ride. Venturi 500. Venturi Highway. So they lent me two. This one has the boxes, yung side panniers. This one is the one without the panniers. For the purpose of reviewing, I only used this for like a day or two. Didn't use it much because I wanted to try out the bike syempre na walang mga boxes na nakabit. So I can just, you know, try it for what it is, you know? No accessories. Between the black and the red, of course you see more contrast here with red and silver, but I'm a black type of person for bikes. I like black. Sulit. Let's take a closer look. First, look at this bike. What does this remind me of? BMW GS with a slight twist towards the V-Strom 1000, which in itself is also another bike that has that GS adventure look. Where this is situated, how that thing is up there, you know, the whole look. Especially when you have side panniers like this. See it? Right? Looks like a GS. See? Taking a closer look at the bike, everything here is okay. If you're talking about the engine, how it's running, specs wise, practically it's churning out the same numbers as the Honda CB500X, and it actually does remind me of how that bike behaves. So this is a pretty awesome performing engine, and you have to try it to believe it so that you can understand what I mean, because this can really run and gun. In this range, in the 500cc segment, this engine is pretty exciting. Looking at the rims, we can go tubeless with this because the spokes are going straight on the outer rim as opposed to inside the rim. This is also something you can see in the BMW GS series. Enduro setup. The wheels over here. So brakes, this is ABS front and back. When I tried the brakes earlier on, the front, I mean the tires were good enough, it wasn't skidding and losing its grip on the road. It was still stopping to the point that I was already lifting my rear, and I realized that I texted the guys over at Brixx, and they said, oh, you can engage the ABS or you can take it out. So I asked them how to put the ABS back on. Here are the instructions. Zach Oliver here. Regarding ABS, press main button to right for 3 to 5 seconds, button to the right. This one is what it should be, right? Okay, I guess. Figure it out. It's gonna blink and the ABS, and you can press it for options for both, for the rear or the front, and if you choose, press both brakes to engage. Okay, let's do it. ABS starts blinking. That's both brakes together. That's the rear, that's both. Ah, okay, so this means this is both. If it's blinking like that, you can now choose. Got it. Yeah, keep the ABS on. We're not going to be doing side brakes and side slides anyway. DCI 12 volts and 5 amperes. Got something that fits that. Plug it in. It's got a nice resounding pop. Check it out. Let's do that again. Sport mode, you got elevation there, I think. Gear indicator, gasoline, odometer, trip meter, of course, standard. Pressing select is the mode, so we're gonna keep it in sport all the way. In terms of quality, in terms of the trimming, this extra thing is for the auxiliary light. They just added this on, it's not part of it. And apart from that, the plastics here are also okay. They seem alright. Not cheap plasticky looking. Adjustable if you want. Take out the screw and put it up or put it down lower or whatnot. I don't know what this is. Ah, USB charger, see? I guess this is a provision for more buttons should you want to add stuff. Hey, let's take a listen, yeah? Good and powerful. Crash guard. Yeah. Sulit. That's the word. Sulit. It's the switches that they can improve on. Even the yellow. Yeah. It's just a minor thing. The grips, I would probably find better ones, but it'll do also. I mean, it's okay, but if you just want to up the game a bit, I would change that too. I feel the mirrors are not up to par with the quality of the rest of the bike. This could also be an improvement, but these are just super minor things. The bigger picture here, the bigger deal is you got this whole configuration. You got a killer engine. I've been pushing this engine a lot. Suspension is also good. Brakes are also good. I mean, overall, focus on that and it's a good bike. These little things that I was pointing out, that's just minor stuff.
This segment can be quite the challenge for bike shoppers and quite the headache for more established brands. The Brixx Venturi is priced not that far off from its Japanese counterparts at 358,000 pesos. Add another 20 and you get the side panniers in the top box. Bike shoppers will be thinking hard because number-wise, the Brixx Venturi has it. Performance, it is behaving in the same playground as the more established brands. It is cheaper, yes, but not that far off. So Brixx is sending the message that they are just as good as the Japs and therefore their price is not far off from them. It makes sense because this is the value they place on their bikes. For the more established brands, here come new manufacturers bringing the game to them, such as technology. You know, the newer ones will always have an advantage because a lot of the development has passed, a lot of the bikes already came out, and the newer manufacturers have learned from all of those. And I think motorcycles with combustible engines, it's past the exploratory phase already. Many get to make quality bikes in this day and age. The next frontier is really electric, but that's another episode. It's hard to ignore what the Brixx Venturi has to offer, and that is what makes the motorcycle industry exciting for us consumers in this day and age. Many options, good and competitive pricing. This is Zach from Makina Moto Features. Ciao. It always happens to me. All it takes